apologize. Part of the process of having a fire station is the distractions and calls. So I do apologize when the tones go off, okay? My name is Moses Ruxman. I'm the fire chief here at Briar Reno Fire Department. I've been the chief for approximately 4 years. The previous chief was Shannon Smithers, and the Briar Reno Fire Department has been in this community for nearly 10 years. The Reno Volunteer Fire Chief has been here since, Reno Volunteer Fire Department was here long before I was ever born, and many of you in the crowd. It actually started in the 1950s. So maybe even before that, but the history I have is the 1950s. When given the opportunity to host this town hall here, we were extremely honored because we believe that this fire station, it belongs to, yes, it may be my paid staff, my volunteers' home for 48 hours at a time or 24 hours at a time, depending on their shift, but really, this is your community. These folks, we work for you, we dedicate our time to you, and we're honored to be here for that. So I just want to thank you all, welcome you, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Mayor Voss, and he's going to lead us off.
Thank you, Moses. First off, I want to thank Linda for getting this all set up. Appreciate everybody coming down and participating. I'm going to be talking about the financial recovery update that we have going on. Our past challenges, we've navigated through over 3 years of financial challenges to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. After the completion of most recent audits, we have one more audit that needs to be completed before the city can access grants and loans again. We predict that to be done somewhere around April, and then the next audit will be done, started in May. The next audit is expected to be submitted in Q2 of this year. Behind you here, so I can look at screens. The audit and fund. All right, can you hear better? All right, the audit and funding. After submission of our audit in Q2, Reno will regain access to essential funding. As funding becomes available, our focus will be on road maintenance, water infrastructure upgrades, improving and maintaining financial stability, and maintaining transparency. In addition, finalizing our audits, we've implemented several cutbacks and cost reduction measures, enabling us to finally understand the true financial condition of this city. The clarity allows us to begin the much needed infrastructure improvements on our roads. Future financial implications. This is hard work ensures that every future project is built on a foundation of financial integrity, something we all can trust. This cornerstone of our plan moving forward is financial responsibility and transparency as Reno carefully manages future growth. Now, to add to this, I actually had a visual. I thought we were going to have a screen here, and I was going to show you some numbers that I drew up, but I don't have it. So if any of you want to see that, just email me and I'll be glad to send it off to you. And then I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to hand it off to Pat Deen if you'd like to come on up, guest speaker that Jill and Linda invited.
Thank you. First, I really want to thank Moses and just really take a minute to just where we are is kind of hallowed ground to me because public safety is pretty important. And you have a great fire department here with the leadership of Moses, and I think that needs to be acknowledged. If you would give them a hand, please. His leadership and his team here, it's really great to do this here. Thank you, Moses. I didn't know I was going to speak, actually. I was coming to the meeting, I knew I was going to have some comments. Then they changed this and put me on here. But I'm happy to speak because I'm going to take a different direction than I have in the past. How many have heard me? Have you come and speak? And how many have heard me come and speak? Because I've been to 2 or 3 of these things. So there's some new faces. I'm going to be very pointed here. How many's for Disincorporation? to eliminate the city, if you would, Rachel. And I'm not trying to single you out, because it's important to me to have both sides here, because I want to make a very pointed comment to that. But if you would, raise your hand, please. Sorry? If you would, raise your hand. If anybody's, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, with a lot of the information that's been sent out. And I talked to an individual that I thought was a nice man, and I'm gonna probably get his name wrong, Greg Hodgen. We had a very intelligent conversation about some things, and I was very upfront with him. I listened to him and some of the concerns. I was a mayor in Hudson Oaks for 12 years, and the things that you face here is really no different than we face in Hudson Oaks, because when I came on, I think I was the chair of the P&Z, and I mean, I was really not anything special, but I got a speeding ticket for 1 mile an hour over, and that really ticked me off. And so, I mean, we made about $900,000 a year on ticket revenue from the city of Hudson Oaks, and somebody never even came through there. I think they went and ate at Jack's Restaurant and got the heck out of town before they got a ticket. But that led to me to start thinking about, I mean, what is this all about? And so we didn't provide water. We had one storage tank, and so if you moved out there, but they would not pass a moratorium against growth until they increased their water supply. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get involved with this. And we had a water tower within a year, and then we started professionalizing our staff. We didn't have a really professional staff with a city administrator until within a year later. And so, you know, the job that Hector has in that council, it's not easy, and you're going to make mistakes. And I was thinking about something, and I don't want to venture too far off here, but I do weddings, and it's one of the favorite things I do, because I do magistrate and probate and all the fun things. But to bring two people together in marriage is really one of the special things I do. And one of the things I say to them, that to start, don't set your expectations so high that you're not perfect. And there's only one that is. And it's the very same thing with this council here, that you're going to make mistakes in the continuation of the change. And it was really good to see that there was no challenged people this year in office, because you need continuity. But what you need more than anything is whether you're for this or against it. And that's why I asked before. And I was hoping some people were here that were against it, because you need to come together and become a unified community. And without that, you're going to continue. And I've always heard this, even when I ran for county judge, that don't campaign in Reno, because half are going to hate you and half are going to like you. And I didn't agree with that. So I knocked doors out here, and I probably knocked a lot of your doors, because it's not that I wanted all of you to like me, but I wanted you to know who I was, and I was going to shoot straight with you and do everything I can to help your community, whether you agreed with me or not. And so one of the things is to listen to the needs of your community. And I'll say this again, I will do whatever it takes. And we brought an economic development guy here to help you, because if you get sustainable economic development growth with high wage job growth, you can get the taxes off people's back and bring revenue to the community to start doing some of the things. But there's not a city in this state that doesn't have road problems, that doesn't have a lot of the issues of what they have now. And that doesn't mean they can't do a better job, but you're their boss. Come to the meetings, get engaged, unify yourself, even with those people that don't agree with you, and do it with respect, and work together. And that's when things start changing. But you need to change the culture of this community to come together. You got a great fire department. Now, the situation with the fire department and all that, I won't get into that, because these guys are great, and they've done a great job, and they have a history of that. And so I don't want to go down that path, because they have, whether you want to keep them, and they deserve that, honestly. These people they've done a good job, and y'all know that. Your police department, you know, if there's anything there that needs to be done, then go to the council meetings and talk to your mayor, talk to your city administrator, and I'll talk a little bit about that. David Miller is your consultant, as I understand, that is the city manager in Springtown, that is on contract here as a consultant, and he's a great guy with his staff. But you need to be moving towards hiring your own professional city manager that is going to guide that council with intelligent discussion and things that you need to do. But the roads and all those things are always going to be things that's going to need to be worked on. So, I mean, now when I want to speak, and I'll venture off to what some of these discussions were, I want to talk about, it says evils of Disincorporation. The facts of this is, and I've really stayed close to this about the facts and the things that I hear that are interesting is if you do disincorporate, that the county's going to come in and manage your water system or will drill you a well. That is absolutely ridiculous, and that's not going to happen. And we're going to come in here and fix your roads, which we're going to be legally bound to do that. But if you talk to Commissioner Conley, who is not for disincorporation, like I've heard, that he told you very clear that your roads probably will get fixed for a while. A long while, 60 road miles, and then add that into what he's already getting for the minimum amount of money he's getting, your roads will decline even more until they start getting better. If you go with the county, and I've heard, the county sheriff's department's better than your police department. I can't speak to that. We have a very good police department with the leadership of Sheriff Wathier. We're on a mutual aid agreement that if something happens out here, we're going to be here to help them. But they're the ones out here that work for the city, that pay, your taxes pay for them. And if that can be improved, if there need to be additional policemen out here, then budget for that, and come and express that concern. But it starts with, number one, if you have your own police department, and I'm going to talk specifically to the evils of disincorporation, the rumors of the county can get out here much quicker, and we have people stationed out here is not correct. That if you do disincorporate, your response times only give you a hypothetical. That if you have a domestic dispute, I magistrate at the jail every Tuesday morning, and then rotate on the weekends, and I see the crime that's going on, and it's growing because the county's growing, and correspondingly, you're going to have more crime. But if you have something happen out here, a domestic dispute, the reality of it is, if you have your own police department, they're going to be there probably in about 3 to 5 minutes, roughly. If you have the county do that, and you're relying on the county only to do that, you're looking at 25 to 30 minutes, and Sheriff Wathier told you that. Unless we happen to have a police officer out here, a sheriff's deputy out here, then in that case, we'll probably minimize that down to probably 10 or 15 minutes. So it just depends on where they are. But we can't just station somebody out here. We're not going to do that. And also, we will raise your taxes. It's an absolute, because if you do disincorporate, we're going to have to add officers to cover this area. But that doesn't mean they're going to be out here. It just means that there's additional officers that would be able to be deployed, because they do put people in the jail all the time. It goes all the way out to Crescent, which is a long way from here, Aledo, Hudson Oaks, the Anettas, Brock, and all the way out to Millsap. This is a big count, 910 square miles. So if there's any thought about that, think about this. Domestic disputes are the worst kind for an officer to show up at. He doesn't know what he's going to go into, or she's going to go into. And so if you do that, you need to get there quickly, because it could be a life and death situation in many cases. So that the response times for these first responders and your sheriffs and your fire department, that will also probably go in a lot of instances, they need the police department there to secure the area. But don't count on the county beating the police department here. If that has happened in the past, it was a stroke of luck. But that is an absolute. Having your own police department is the best way to go. If you do away with that, there's no going back. You turn this switch off and you go away, and you vote for disincorporation, then that's it. There's no going back. It's over. The next day you wake up, you're still going to pay taxes until the debt is paid off, and you're still going to be in a situation where, and one of the things I see here on, I looked at this in one of the things about if you do disincorporate, one of the things, and you lose, the city has the ability to control the ordinances and sets ordinances. The county doesn't do that. So we can control lot sizes in certain instances when we're doing planning, but we cannot and will not do the other, where that is a control of the city that sets that. But we only have certain things that we can do constitutionally. We're driven by the Constitution, unlike what a city is. But we do not have the ability to control ordinances. And one of the things I want to point out that wasn't mentioned here is, y'all know what, and don't go the wrong way with this, but y'all know what SOB is, sexually oriented business. That wasn't on here. And you would be exposed to that because there's no protection from your city to have those in there. That was one of the biggest concerns we had in Hudson Oaks, But the one thing that kind of ties in with the other is if you do disincorporate, and again, I'm just being factual here. I'm not giving you my opinion, I'm giving you fact. That if you do disincorporate, your property values will be affected by that. That will open the door for the potential for social-oriented businesses. And you don't want that, because when they come in here, it's gonna be very hard getting them out of here. So I would really think long and hard about that, and the people you talk to. But the thing about this is anything that is done that you don't agree with, you can fix it. I mean, why? Don't bring an atomic bomb to a knife fight. Look at what you can do, what you can fix, and if there's something you don't agree with it, and I don't want to go through all these things here about, you know, what's wrong with the city, or the city's not doing this, or doing that, or they raise taxes. You know, I'm going to be hard pressed to disrespect a city council or its mayor, because those are the leaders, and they've taken time. They don't get paid. I mean, they do this on their own, and they take time out of their day to do this, and time out of their schedule to come up here and work hard to do this. And so, work with them as a team. But I ask you this, and I beg of you, come together as a community, even with those people that are for disincorporation. Talk to them intelligently and talk to them without emotion. Find out what the issues are, but you don't have to blow it up. And I'm giving you that perspective of this, because if you do blow it up, then there's no going back. You know, and I guarantee you, Fort Worth, Hazel, Pelican Bay, and some others, they're going to be having some meetings pretty quick about some of the developers out here that are developing land that are going to be wanting to talk to some people about. You might find yourself in Hazel, you might find yourself in Pelican Bay, or others that you're contiguous with, and your community's gone. And I'm looking at a school right over there that says what? Reno on it. Does it not? So if you want to be a community and work together and unify yourselves, I really urge you to do that. Things in Hudson Oaks were not good when I got there. It was, and I didn't do it. I mean, it was a team of people that really came together with no agenda, that wanted to change the culture of the community to work together. And we do. And now, and there's things now, I'm not on the council, that really take me off, and I won't go into that. But there's always going to be those things. And you go and you express yourself and you talk to the council, and you're the bosses. You're the ones that vote them in. So if there's something you don't agree with, something you don't like, come talk to them. These are just human beings that make mistakes. They're not perfect. They're doing the best they can. And so work with them. But what I guess the thing I'll leave you with is come together as a community and really work on getting along with your neighbors, working together, because you're all in this together. It's not like South and North Korea here. I mean, you're all in the same boat. So it's better if you come together and support this community and come to those council meetings, engage yourself and say, we haven't had an auditor, we haven't done this. And what the mayor brought up, what I really admired about that was that every one of those things, I've heard criticisms from talking to people that are for disincorporation, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. And every single thing he said was, he's working in these things and doing these things and getting corrected. Why would you want to stop that progress and go back to nothing and not have any protection at all from the city and think the county's going to come out here and be your rescue? Because we're not. Your roads are going to be, Conley, I'm surprised he didn't say this, or he might have, get used to dirt roads, or gravel roads. I say that jokingly, but what I mean is there's going to be potholes. Every city has bad roads. And so they do their job, come talk to them, see what their budget is. If you can get economic development out here, get some of that, they can increase the number of monies that they put in their roads and fix it. But I've driven your roads out here. They're not that bad, really. I mean, in Hudson Oaks, they were terrible. And so I don't know what their budget is on that, but the roads don't look bad. I've driven through here, and why would you want to do that? I would just leave you with that come together as a community, work together, and that's when things start changing for the better.